What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Eli the House Guy checking in, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to talk about what is wholesale real estate and exactly what it can do for you in regards to being able to make loads and loads of cash relatively simply by helping out the people who need it most. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to take these strategies that I've learned to find financial freedom and use them to your advantage to find financial freedom for yourself. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So Wholesale Real Estate 101. This is the art of sales, marketing, and negotiations. And the reason why that is because you need to know how to get your point across that you can help a seller who needs help. So before we get to the diagram, I'm actually going to do another drawing, so bear with me. Let's just pretend we've got a house, okay? Now, as I go through this diagram over here, I'm gonna also give you some acronyms. If you have a pen and paper, write these things down because you're gonna wanna review these notes later. So, we've got a house, and let's just pretend this house has an ARV, otherwise known as after repair value, of $250,000, okay? Depending on where you're at in the country, values of houses are going to change, but let's just say we're working with a property worth $250,000. Now, in this property that's worth $250,000, we've got what's called a distressed seller. Now, this distressed seller has one of three types of distress. Number one, financial. Number two, circumstantial. And number three, physical. Okay, so this guy, let's just call him Bob. If he's in financial distress, he can't pay his bills. Maybe he's got a mortgage he's backed up on. Maybe he's got some taxes he can't keep up with. Things like that is gonna fall under financial distress. Number two, we have circumstantial distress. Let's just say Bob is going through a divorce. Let's say Bob got another job in another place. Let's say Bob has, I don't know, a health issue that all of a sudden comes up, or maybe he's got a rascal nephew that was caught shooting up the place last night and he got sent to jail and he needs some bail money and he's got to put up the house as financial collateral. Circumstantial distress is such that Bob is now in a corner where he needs a large amount of cash in order to solve his problem. And last but not least, we've got physical. So maybe his health is bad. Maybe the property condition is bad. Maybe he's got, fire, flood, earthquake, something that happens, something that hits the house, right? And now it's been in such disarray that it's gonna cost him too much money to fix it. All these situations would cause a seller or an owner of a property to become distressed. Now, what's happening is, as a wholesaler, you're going out and you're marketing to these people, saying that you're gonna give them cash for houses. So if you're ever driving around town and you look on the telephone poles and you see signs that say, "We buy houses," and then at the bottom it's gonna have, a number to call, right? These guys are typically wholesalers letting people know that they are gonna get the distressed sellers cash for their houses. Now, when a distressed seller calls a wholesaler and says, "Hey, I've got a house I want to sell," the wholesaler is then responsible to make an offer on that property, which we found over here. Now, depending on the condition of the property, depending on the market condition, meaning if prices are going up, going down, if there's a lot of buying activity, there's not a lot of buying activity, the location matters, okay? Depending on those circumstances, this wholesaler is gonna look at the ARV and determine an offer price to the seller that's fair in order for the seller to get the money they need to solve their problem right away. Now, once the seller and the wholesaler make an agreement, they're gonna fill out what's called a purchase and sale agreement. This purchase and sale agreement tells the wholesaler that he has an obligation to pay this distressed seller a certain amount of money for his property. So going back to over here, we've got a $250,000 house value, okay? And the wholesaler says, "I'm gonna offer you $125,000 cash for the house," and he's got 30 days to fulfill this obligation, or he's gonna put up or lose some kind of earnest money or financial, collateral, right? In order to get this purchase and sale agreement done. Now, once these two are under contract, the wholesaler is then responsible to go and find someone to actually monetize this contract, okay? So he's gonna go and find what's called an end buyer, an investor, or someone that's gonna say, hey, you're selling this house or you've got this house under contract for 125 and it's worth 250. That sounds like a great deal. I'm willing to sign up and do that deal. So what's gonna happen is the distressed seller is the wholesaler is gonna go out and find the end buyer, and the end buyer is gonna fund this $125,000 for this distressed seller and the wholesaler. Well, once the $125,000 is agreed upon by the end buyer, they sign what's called an assignment agreement. This assignment agreement is used to go out and make sure that the buyer is signing up to take all the obligations from this purchase and sale agreement and fulfill them. So at the very minimum, this seller over here, he's gonna get $125,000 for the property. Then the wholesaler doesn't work for free. I know I certainly don't. So the wholesaler says to the end buyer, I'm gonna go ahead and sell you my rights to this contract for, let's call it $15,000. So this end buyer is responsible to bring $140,000 to the table. And there goes my whiteboard. We're not cutting that, we're leaving that, okay? That's good comedic relief. So, the end buyer brings $140,000 to the table, all right? Let me show you guys how ambidextrous I am. Okay, and the wholesaler, for putting this scenario together, is going to earn himself a nice $15,000 paycheck for helping this distressed seller out of his financial, circumstantial, or physical situation, and getting the end buyer a property that he's going to be able to invest in and eventually sell to a end user, maybe a tenant or a family to live in, so that way they can have a nice house and the neighborhood can increase in value as well. So that is wholesaling. That's how it's done. And if you got fire deals like me, then your board's gonna swing like this. All right? You guys want to know some more information? I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me on this one, and bye for now. See you on the flip side.
Baby, what you like?